Okay, I think we're live. I'm just waiting for the last bit to show up here. There we go. Okay, we got it set up. Use it for some reason when you zoom onto here, it basically does this little wonderful thing where it puts it to friends only, and then everybody can't see it. So I've got that fixed now, and we're good to go. I'm just going to tune in on this side so I can see comments. And we're good to go. Okay, so freaking strong energies lately. I've done my fair share of struggling the last little while. Some of the people on my lives and other stuff will know some of the experience that I've been going through. It's really, really, really hard to be human sometimes. And I'm just going to preface a few things. I've got people that want to come in and help and assist and make me feel better. But what we need to understand is to gloss over the experience of what we're feeling right now is not helping anyone. We have to deeply feel it. We have to emotionally feel it. We have to viscerally feel it. We have to talk about it. We have to share it. And I know that makes some people feel uncomfortable, and I acknowledge that. I have some people coming and saying that this is a choice I've made, and it's all my choice, and I'm going to conjecture a whole bunch of things back at that, because not that I don't disagree, everything's a choice, but when what's causing the situation is an unconscious belief or programming, and you can't physically see it, you can't see the impact of X causing Y and this causing that, and these kind of things, to say that it's a choice when you have no idea that you had another choice, or that some of the underpinnings of what's going on caused some other interaction, is hard. And I'm gonna also say that everybody's experience is different, and the truth and the reality for every person is different. I've been here for a very long time as a soul. I've been here, I believe, since the beginning of planet Earth for a very long time. People have called me a source fractal. I've got a lot of knowledge. And the purpose I came here was a little bit different than some other people, and there's absolutely no ego in it. It's the fucking hardest thing I've ever chose. I picked every fucking thing that was hard on the list of hard, and then went even past that of things to do. Like mind-fuckingly complicated path, we'll call it that way. And it's made my programming, my understandings of the world, plus my karma and my lineage trauma and that kind of stuff, I'm not the same as other people. And I'm finding it very hard to sit in a collective where everybody's saying that everything's the same. And my beliefs are very different underpinning the world. I understand and I see underneath what's going on in the world, what's happening, all these things. And it makes my journey different. And I honor the people that are coming and giving advice and other things. I respect everybody's experience and journey, but I see some people kind of turn away when I say my way's different, because they want it to be the same as theirs, or they're loving me by giving me this kernel of knowledge, but I can't even take that kernel of knowledge because I don't have the same beliefs and the underlying pieces. And I want everybody to just take a step back for a second. I speak from my experience. I don't tell anybody to do anything, or this is the way to go, or this is how it has to be. I just say, when I did this, this happened. And then you get to make a choice. Where a lot of people are running around saying, oh, I have this joy and everything's the cut time for all this kind of stuff. Is it really showing up in your life? You can't say I've got all this joy and everything's beautiful and loving, and then at the same time be bitching about your job and the 3D-ness of it, and that you're going to have to leave it and all the fears and all that kind of stuff, because nobody's got it yet. How many people do you know that are light workers that are speaking about joy and it's all love and light and all this kind of stuff, and they're so bypassed on some parts of their life that they're not really dealing with the emotion underneath? And that's not a call out or a cop out or whatever. I'm just saying the test of anybody's advice is how beautiful their life is. And I'm going to tell you right now, how many light workers do you know that really got it all figured out, are rich, are whatever, are really, really going through what's going on? There's almost zero. And the ones that got it figured out, supposedly got money, they're so stuck in busyness and chasing and doing sessions and chasing money and all the problems that go with it. They're missing a huge part of the process. And that's not judgment. I'm just saying from my experience, in what I'm seeing, it's the grittiness. It's going down. It's like, what does disappointment feel like? What does anger feel like? What does rage feel like? What does being let down feel like? And when you feel it in your heart and you're starting to just like, oh, it's not good or whatever, and then we push it away and we say, oh, it's not good to feel disappointment or whatever. No, it's fucking amazing to feel disappointment, but feel disappointment till it like curls your toes and you're just like, fuck, I was disappointed, or I was angry, or I was mad, or I was let down, or I was hurt, or whatever. Go feel that. If you feel the twinge of it, go feel it. And then once you go feel it, then some magic happens, because we start to accept that that's part of the human experience, accept that that's in our body, accept that little boy or little girl that's deep down inside that's really been disappointed many times or hurt many times or whatever. And you can just go hold them and say, okay, yeah, we're disappointed. It's not the kid's disappointed and I'm not. No, it's we're disappointed. This is what disappointed feels like. This is what anger feels like. This feels like hurt. This feels like let down, whatever. There's so many things that we feel every day that we just kind of bypass. We say, ooh, it wasn't very good. I don't like that. I teach from the experience of being and deeply vulnerable and speak about the emotions. And yes, that triggers people. It's gritty. It's crazy sometimes to sit and watch when I start to talk about something that's gritty. And I watch the people that are watching just go bing, 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 bing. Because it's like an energy like, oh, fuck, this is touching me and I really don't want to be part of it. But I'm going to give you the truth of it. I'm going to give you the icky bit, and call me if you think I'm projecting or whatever. I don't think I am. I'm speaking of what is. And to get into what is and be okay with it and to expose the light, the energy of the vulnerability, the energy of the emotion is a gift, a huge gift. Because the more we can sit in what is and stop rejecting those things, it's not good to feel this, it's not good to feel alone, it's not good to feel unhappy, it's not good, all these things. We just put a piece of ourselves in a cage. And none of us deserve to be in a cage at any point in time. Their whole lifetime, our whole incarnation right now has been in a cage. And we're struggling to get out of it. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why we get stuck in these holes, why we get stuck in these emotions. There's a huge amount of dark energies around us. We participated. You got to say that those dark energies are part of us, etc. Because we created it sometime. We used them against our family. We used them against friends. We've done this before, blah, 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 blah. So we got to acknowledge that whatever's being used on us is something that exists because of us. So take some responsibility for it. But our awareness is what gets us through. When we start to see people being narcissistic towards us, people being energy vampires, people being all these different things that are sucking on our energy, taking advantage of us as empaths, you start to understand that people aren't living for themselves. They're living by they kind of gave up on their own level. And we see this in family lineages, epigenetic lineages, where this darkness has kind of clamped on through some trauma that's happened up the lineage line, maybe up to 10 generations ago. And this thing is constantly mixed in. So let think of it as like a dark energy is attached, and it was like a rape or something of your great grandmother. That the likelihood that that energy is attached and that rape, which is been created a trauma, which sucks sexual energy, created fear, created all these things, probably went into the women lineage of that family. And it also went into the men as the predator energy, other things. That darkness just gets in and it just keeps to kind of feed. And you're going to find out that your beliefs from your mother, from your father, from whatever, with all that lineage trauma, and they combine whenever two families come together, a mom and a dad come together and they make a kid, which is me. I have both lineage traumas and I have both those darknesses, but we're also born as a child with the medicine to clear and heal both of those lineages, because we're coming here to get better and purify and clear. So let's think, okay, there's like 10 dark energies from this side and 10 dark energies from this side. My mother, oh, you can't go out with women, sex is bad, whatever, that are all the lineage traumas and the armors that were created. And that keeps playing out in her life because it came from the grandmother, but they're not consciously aware of it. Now all of a sudden it's like narcissism and mother wounds and all this kind of stuff. Your sexuality, it's like you can't be that and you can't do that. And then religion comes in and you end up in this tangled mess of not being able to, all put into your subconscious because you learn all this stuff before you're 8 years old. Every single thing your parents say goes into your head. So guess what? All of a sudden you have all these pulls and these unconscious beliefs that you had no choice in because they're replaying from all this stuff that came from your family lineage. And you're not even consciously aware of what's going on and why you're saying no, why you're limiting yourself, etc. So look at that. There's a wet blanket over everything that you do, and you're just frustrated and angry. Now, also add on to that, all these crazy things. There's alien technologies, there's things like HARP and other technologies that have been created to influence us energetically. So let's talk about how often do you feel happy? I know in my world, I'll get a happy thought. It's like, hey, I'm doing this, or I just made a bunch of money, or I created something. And the minute I get out of the energy of it and I get distracted for a minute by TV or something going on around, or the phone or my cell phone or whatever, all of a sudden, do you ever notice that the energy of that happiness is all of a sudden like gone? 5 minutes later, you're like, where was that happiness? And then it's like, did it even happen? There's a constant energetic pull on our systems. And I'm going to say anybody that's a light worker, anybody that's been here for a very long time, has a lot of awareness, has a big purpose in this world, has been attached to by darkness. Some people call it targeting and other things, or getting attacked or whatever. But I will tell you right now, there are energies. Here's a cool example for one. My son is a crystalline child. He used to make these grids, beautiful, put all these crystals in these things. And by the time he was about 12 or whatever, he said, I don't want to do these anymore, Dad. And I'm like, what's going on? He says, well, there's men in trucks that come and steal the energy. Every time I build one, I see them and they come and take the energy. And I'm like, holy frick, this kid is 12 and he's seeing the energetic attachment. The dark, the other side of the energy that's trying to pull us all down, control us, to all these things, it has access to all these technologies, all these abilities, all these alien artifacts, all these different things that are constantly trying to get in front of us to put a wet blanket on us so that we don't shine too light, because they know if we shine too bright, we will stop them. The light will literally erode their ability to control, will give knowledge to other people, will enlighten and awaken other people. So they have done everything. They've created all these technologies, things like TV and the programming that goes into them, and commercials and frequencies that come off your monitors, your TVs, your cell phones, your all this kind of stuff. You can dig deep enough, you're going to find out even our music has been shifted frequency to make it aggravate our system. So we're constantly in a fight or flight. once you start to get aware that all these things are going on, it's actually quite a miracle that we're awakening, because there's so much collective pressure going on to keep us from waking up. Our programming as a child, our religion, our governments, what we see on TV, what we see on Facebook, what we see from our friends, all these kind of things, these collective agendas, like the C word going on right now, they're all freaking trying to crush us, keep us in fight or flight, keep us angry, keep us of not making a choice, keep us from being our full selves. So there's this thing that I found, somebody sent me, my beautiful friend Martine, it's a declaration of sovereignty, and I'll put it in the link after this. And I suggest everybody share it. I'm also going to put it as a post on my Facebook page, but it basically goes in and it basically says, I do not consent to these technologies. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I try and create for the last several months, it's fucking mind-numbingly painful. And when people come to me and say, oh, it's just a choice and all this kind of stuff, I'm going to say fucking right now that those technologies take those choices away. They frickin' make it impossible for us to manifest and create without distortion, because it just keeps putting this pressure on to say that we're not worthy, we're not whatever, blah, 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 blah. So until those are diffused, and I'm actively working through that right now, everything's got a twist on it. And you're probably feeling this. You feel this numbness all the time, or just sometimes you're just not feeling good, or maybe if you watch TV or you hear the news or whatever, you feel that pull, because it's built into everything. It's built into the commentary. It's built into what's in Facebook. It's built into the ads. It's built into the filters, the stuff that you're allowed to see and not see. So what I need people to become aware of is, where do you feel those pulls? How often do you feel that you don't have a choice? How often do you feel that things are mangled up for reasons outside your control? And I felt this my whole life. It should have been only a choice away. But what's actually there is a whole bunch of things that make it impossible for you to see the choice and limit you down to something very small. So start looking for that. Start to be aware that some of these technologies are there, that there's really complex things going on. It's in our cell phones, it's in our water, it's in our food, all the chemicals, all the different things, calcifying our pineal gland, doing things to our food are all there. And then things like jabs and other things are doing similar. They are shifting our ability to make conscious choice and narrowing our field of view so that we can be controlled. So as a light worker, do this declaration of sovereignty. See how you feel. Give it a couple days, because I did mine this morning, and I'm doing other work. I'm getting clearings done in my world and on all these things, and all these attachments that are hanging on me saying you can't move forward and you're not worthy of, and you can't have relationships and you can't do your life purpose, are all things that are darkness. And some people may say, I'm just like taking it out of my responsibility. I take full and fucking complete responsibility for all these things. They created them. They're insidious. They're strong. And I'm not being a victim saying that I don't have to do anything, because I have to take fucking action. And do not consent to be controlled. Do not consent to have my energy stolen. Do not consent to have people coming in and feeding off me and other things, because we don't even know they're happening. So we don't even know to not consent anymore. So what I'm suggesting is do that, report back, say how it felt. I'll tell you what changed for me. But be aware that you have so many anchors and claws pulling at you, it's almost impossible to see it all. And it got me to the point where I was doubting everything, and it makes me despair sometimes and not want to be here anymore and hate the world and other things, because the quickest way to shut off my light is to make me angry, make me sad, hurt my son, do other things, all to control me. So I do not consent for these things anymore. I consent only for things that bring my light up, give me love, show me relationships, show me the purity of all these things, not lessons, not fucking bullshit of despair and projecting other people's shit. No, I set the purity right here of the field from this point onwards. Everything that's allowed into my world is divine and for my highest good and is from ease and grace. No more suffering, no more bills and debt and fucking things clawing at you, relationships, narcissism, all this kind of stuff. No, that's the old way. And it's part of our old lineage. And I choose to clean up all that lineage. I choose to clean up all the contracts and all the pain and the suffering and other stuff that terminated in me. I have the medicine. I set that medicine forth to heal each and every single piece of whatever is there and put it all the way up. And that influences millions of people. If you start figuring out how many families were joined together and this grid of people from 10 generations back, all the grandmothers, grandfathers, children, and their marriages, you're half the collective after a while. So invoke the medicine to clean and heal all your lineage trauma. Invoke this declaration of sovereignty to clean up and release all the attachments and begin to start creating positive things. I choose to bring relationship into my life. I choose to bring touch, sensuality, pleasure, money, abundance, new purpose, new people, new soul family. I choose to welcome those all in right now. And I want to revel in playing and having that adventure of discussions and meeting and relationship and play and new tasks and new abundance, because that's what I came here for. But it got all twisted. So we covered a lot of ground. I don't want to carry this too much longer, but just start looking. Just start looking. This will be an activation. This will be in your head and it'll be like, oh, fuck, is that what's going on? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. And you start to realize how much of it was unconscious and was hidden behind your perception, your conscious awareness. And trust me, the more of a light worker you are, the longer you've been around or whatever, your those things and the genetic lineages and stuff that you brought into are really, really fucking strong, because you needed to come in with that power to be able to clean it all up. So you're more than likely been hurt and injured and wounded and raped and traumatized in myriad of different ways. But if you did, that meant you came with the power and the strength and the family and all the support that you needed to make it happen. So we're not suffering, we're not struggling. You just have to stand up enough, step into your power and say, no fucking more. I have the medicine for all this shit. I'm cleaning it up. Get rid of that lineage shit before you try and deal with your own shit, because you think you're going to look at your own shit when you're dealing with your 10 generations back grandmother's shit. You didn't accept to deal with her shit. You accept to deal with the piece that is impacting you, so you can end that cycle and your children are released from it. So I hope this gives you a clue to what's underneath, what's dragging you, what hooks are in you. I see Kathy, I'm hoping things are well for you. Sitting in the stuff for 2 days. Just use that stuff. Go underneath, start to be aware that you're a really powerful being and a lot of shit is there, and become aware. And I give you the knowledge based on what I found for me, and you have a choice to do it. I'm not saying everybody's got it, everybody has to do it. I'm telling you, it's highly, highly likely that this is happening for you and you weren't even aware of it. So my share to you is, now you're aware of it, make a choice. Use that medicine. Declare right now, I take this medicine and heal and resolve everything up my lineage, so you don't have to deal with their attachments and shit. And then you can start working on your own. But instead, we're working on our own, and all these emotions and shit from 10 generations and a whole bunch of people you don't even know is coming in, just overwhelming you and creating all these beliefs and saying, don't do that and you shouldn't do that. No, you got to stand clear from that, stand sovereign, and then you do the work. And they'll all be happy. I guarantee it. Once you've done the work and everything's healed and cleared, massive, 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 massive blessings are going to go up to everybody and the whole world. So start there. And understand there's other technologies and all that kind of stuff. You can't change it. But by making that declaration of sovereignty, it says you will not be impacted by those. And guess what? You probably never have had the choice or even consciously aware it was there. Guess what? It's going to clear the board. What you're doing right now is going to be 10 times more effective, and magic is going to happen in your life. So just helping people be consciously aware of what is in the unconscious and is happening behind the truth, etc. So honoring you all. I love you all. Thank you, Kathy, if you're still listening. Elohim, same. Thank you. Thank you. And blessings and joy to everybody. Have a good one. I'm going to leave this a little long because sometimes it cuts off. So thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.